In this video, I'm discussing the 3 types of clients that you do not want to work with. Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Natasha, the business recruiter. Welcome back to my channel. So when it comes to getting clients, I know that you're going to be super excited about getting your first paid client and ultimately getting to a point where you are actually getting that check. But I am here to tell you that not all money is good money when you're thinking through those companies that you are going to potentially end up working with. So I want you to keep a couple things in mind as you think through, is this going to be a viable solution for you in terms of them coming on as a client? Number one, you want to avoid working with clients who I would deem to be difficult. And these are going to be the individuals who have really high expectations, but maybe are trying to negotiate a really low placement fee. Or as you're going through that negotiation process, maybe they're just extremely difficult to work with. Maybe they're not responding back in a timely manner, or maybe they are responding back in a timely manner, but the questions that they're asking just don't add up. All of these things are considered to be red flags, and they're red flags that I would definitely make sure that you take into consideration. Ultimately, who you choose to work with is going to be extremely important, and a difficult client in the beginning can ultimately turn out to be a difficult client for you in the long run. Now, the next type of client that you want to avoid working with is a client that is going to be unethical. And believe me, there are lots of companies and organizations out there that have very unethical practices in regards to how they go about getting talent. And you have to keep in mind that as a recruiting agency owner, you are required to follow the same legislative laws, whether they're federal, local, or within the state, that particular company has to follow as well. This means if there's anything unethical that company is doing in regards to their hiring process, it is possible that you can get looped into it and ultimately be sued and have to pay some form of a settlement, if not even worse in terms of jail time. So you want to be very mindful about the companies or the clients that you choose to work with, because if they do show any evidence of being unethical, you want to understand that can definitely come back on you. Now, if you're enjoying this video so far, then be sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button as well as that bell so that you can get notified of all of my videos that drop weekly. Now, the next client that you want to have on your radar is going to be the client that is unorganized. And maybe this particular client has a lot of processes and systems that are either not in place or just simply don't make sense. Again, you're going to be a part of their interview process. And if their interview process is all over the place, you have to think about how that's ultimately going to impact you in terms of trying to get a viable candidate through. If they're not even sure what their process and or systems are related to talent acquisition, it's not your job as the recruiting agency to come in and make that decision for them. You want to be very mindful about those clients who just don't seem to have all of their ducks in a row, because ultimately that's just going to be added stress on you. And you also have to think about when it comes to you getting paid. What if they now have an unorganized process in terms of how they go about their accounts payable? Now that means that although that contract is in place and there are payment terms that are in place, maybe they're not going to pay you on time. And of course, you can build in late fees and all of those things into your contract so that you are compensated for your time, even if it does end up being outside of the window of your contract. But still, you want to make sure that you don't have to go there in terms of your client. So again, you want to make sure that you're picking up on these red flags from the very beginning. Now, ultimately, you just have to understand that there's simply some things that you're not going to catch, and that's okay. Keep in mind that failing fast and failing forward in this industry is ideal, because all of that can be used as learning lessons for you as you continue to refine your operations in terms of how you go about running your recruiting agency. And some behavior in terms of clients do change. I have had clients who were horrible to work with in the beginning, but I kept on with the relationship, and ultimately in the long run it did get better. So also make sure that you do leverage discernment when you're thinking about ultimately if a client is going to be a good fit to work with or not. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then be sure to give me a thumbs up, as well as if you are not in my Facebook group, then I encourage you to join, because we are in there talking all things recruiting. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.